Welcome to the WinSQL online tutorial by Cinemetrics Technologies. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you a list of available features in WinSQL. To keep the demo brief, I'll quickly show you the features without delving into implementation details or usage instructions. If you're interested in learning more about a specific feature, you can watch other video tutorials, refer to the user's guide, or contact our support department. So let's get started. The biggest feature and most prominent differentiator of WinSQL from other database tools is its use of ODBC or JDBC, rather than a database-specific library, to communicate with the database. Additionally, WinSQL comes with database plugins for certain major databases. These plugins provide additional functionality that is typically not provided by the drivers. For this demo, I will connect to two databases, PostgreSQL and text files. Although most users won't consider a plain text file as a relational database, a properly formatted text file can be treated as a table, and I can run SQL statements to select and insert data. Let's connect to a plain text file. I am using ODBC for this connection. Since reading a text file does not need credentials, I can either leave these fields blank or put any arbitrary values. Now, I am going to open another connection to a relational database. I will use PostgreSQL for this example and use a JDBC driver. The most important feature of SQL is the ability to run SQL queries. WinSQL offers several features that assist users in writing SQL statements. Notice that as I type queries, WinSQL brings up the catalog information. This is called IntelliTips. Once I'm done writing queries, I can either run all of them at once or one at a time by just highlighting one or more queries. Notice that some of the columns are appearing in different colors, signifying primary and foreign keys. I can click on the plus to bring up the associated data, which will pull the record from either the parent or the child table. Once the data is populated in the grid, I can perform several tasks by clicking the right mouse button. For example, I can search within the grid, export the contents to different formats, open the results in Microsoft Excel, copy the data in various formats, or save the contents of this grid so I can access them at a later time. There are a couple of interesting options on this menu. The first one is Save Column to Files. This option saves data for a column to files on your disk. Imagine you're querying a table with images in one of the columns. Using this option, you can save those images to your disk. The next interesting option is saving this grid to an executable, which creates a standalone file that can run on any machine. As long as the database connection exists, that executable file will pull the latest data from the back-end database. This provides a convenient way for a non-technical user to run SQL queries with just a double click on an executable file. When running queries, I have the option to display the results in a grid, text, or a form-like window. When data is displayed in a form, it is very easy to modify the data in the source table. Moving to the next row will run an update statement in the background. I will switch back to the grid view for the remainder of this video. This History tab contains queries I have previously run. Again, clicking the right mouse button allows me to perform several tasks. Besides running queries, I can view the database catalog on the left, which displays available objects in the database. To search for a specific object, I start typing its name and hit the Enter key. WinSQL will take me to the first matching object. Hitting the Enter key again will find the next object. I can navigate to a table and click Browse Data to view the actual data in the table. Double-clicking any row invokes the Update wizard, allowing me to generate an update query. Similar to other grids, I can right-click here to bring up a pop-up menu containing several features. For example, I click here to display this data in Microsoft Excel. I click the Manage Relationships node to visualize the back-end design based on the foreign keys. If there are no foreign keys, I can create local relationships that do not alter the database design, but help the user in writing queries. Objects can have arbitrary comments. There are two types of comments, local and remote. Remote comments are stored in the actual database and are therefore shared between multiple users. Local comments, on the other hand, are only visible to the user who created them. Besides tables, I see a list of available views in the database. Not only can I see the fields and browse data, but I can also see the SQL statement for the view. In addition to views, I see stored procedures, triggers, and other database-specific objects in the catalog. I select the Catalog Details tab, which displays some filtering options. For example, I can restrict the object's owner by selecting a specific value here. Note that some databases use the term schemas to represent the owner. Therefore, the terms schema, owner, and user refer to the same thing. I can optionally enter a filter string to further narrow down the list of objects that are displayed. Now let's talk about some advanced features. Most of these advanced features are accessed either via the Tools menu or by clicking the right mouse button in the catalog tree. For example, I can generate SQL statements. Use the Import Text wizard to import textual data into a table. Export data from a table to a text file. Generate test data. Reverse engineer a table's design. Generate insert statements based on existing data in a table. Additional advanced options are accessible from the Tools menu. The SQL wizard provides a convenient way to create select statements using a visual tool. The scripting wizard allows you to run multiple SQL statements saved in one or more files. Data access objects generate code in Java, C# or PHP to access tables in your database. Database diff allows you to compare the schema and data between two databases. Data2Go creates special files called data bags, which store both textual and binary data from a table. You can use these data bags to insert data into another table at a later time. Use the database search option to search for objects. The DDL generation wizard allows you to reverse engineer an entire database. The built-in scheduler enables you to run tasks such as executing queries, importing or exporting data, and performing backups according to a schedule. The offline backup is a convenient way to back up and restore data across multiple database types. For example, you can back up an Oracle database but restore it to a SQL Server backend. Using this option, I can invoke the new table wizard. WinSQL offers several options for importing and exporting data. The configuration for these tasks is stored in an export template. Using this option, I can manually run an export template. Many of the features you see here have their separate video tutorials. I recommend you watch them if you're interested in learning more about it. In addition to these features, WinSQL contains some non-visual features. For example, you can perform many tasks by providing command line arguments. WinSQL uses catalog caching, which reduces the need to query the database often. Ability to email query results based on a schedule. This concludes the online tutorial, which showcases a list of features in WinSQL. I recommend spending a few minutes watching other feature-specific video tutorials on our website. All of these videos provide a lot of information in a very short amount of time and are very helpful.